With a little Torah thought, especially as we're dealing with this topic of Messiah, of Mashiach, and the whole entire um, upsy-turvy world that we're living in. One of the things we find in our literature is that just as Christians and Muslims have their concept of a anti-Christ, the Jews, even before them, had this concept of an world dictator, Armiilus. And interesting enough, this individual was realized during the destruction of the Second Temple, when he came and destroyed the temple and sacrificed an abomination in the temple. And that became the prototype of the anti-Messiah of the Jewish people. And it was repeated throughout history through different world leaders in the non-Jewish world, Gentile world. And so we see the idea of the anti-Messiah being reflected in the power of Rome and the power of Ishmael. Interesting enough, I'll be talking about these two powers that exist in today's world, the power of Edom and the power of Ishmael, in relationship to the eschatology, future events, according to how they look at it. One thing is very clear: both groups, the Muslims as well as the Christians, have a very similar idea as to the Antichrist in regards to its development, that it will be a Jew who comes out of Israel, who will be proclaiming himself to be the Messiah, and then he is that Antichrist for the Christians and the Muslims. Whereas for us, it's going to be just the opposite. We'll be coming out of the correlation or the relationship between Ishmael and Edom, which happens to be Christianity and Islam, that will arise a leader who will persecute and begin to try to do harm to the Jewish people. Obviously, the end of the story is Messiah wins, the Mashiach wins. Now, in the concept of Christians and Muslim, it's Jesus. Concept to the Jewish concept, it's going to be a Jew that arises from a grassroots effort that will take place in Eretz Israel and will begin to work towards establishing the monarchy. This is what I was talking about earlier. Not like people think he's going to be coming from the sky and this pious person is going to win the hearts and souls of the whole world, and the whole world will come into a global peace. Not at all. It's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, but it's going to rise from out of Israel. A grass movement will be a people who believe in Torah, who believe in the oral law, who believe in the words of our sages, and even of the Rambam, who I've quoted very in depth with a lot of the leaders and people who have asked the comments. And like I said, a lot of people talk about Mashiach. Mashiach here, Mashiach there, everywhere is Mashiach. And yet, the bottom line is when they apply the concepts to make it a practical realization, we don't know, we don't have any what to say in this matter. We have a lot to say in this matter. The idea of Mashiach is the idea of a monarchy that will arise from Israel and will revolutionize the state of Israel to become a Torah institution, a Torah state, a Torah God-fearing country, which is currently not in that situation right now, utilizing the parliamentary and changing it into a Sanhedrin type of situation, where the power of the Sanhedrin will be animated, where the power of the throne of David will be reactivated, and then the world will be in opposition to such power. Why? Because when truth settles into this world, it shakes up the world to its very foundation. And this is what we're talking about when we truly believe in the idea of Mashiach as through the root of a monarchy. Israel doesn't work as a democracy, as we know. It needs a strong leader along with a system of balance, which is the Sanhedrin, and the system of the Navi, which all will be taking place during the time just prior to the realization of the Messianic era. This is Rabbi Moshe Otero, and you may not agree with me, but you know what? It is a practical approach that the Rambam has given us to be able to make it real if we so want so, if we so desire it. So don't come back with me and say, Mashiach now! And you do absolutely nothing to make it real and to make it a real reality in Eretz Israel. Shalom, shalom.